Hi everyone. I'm super excited to be here and talking about something that I am not only doing myself, but I really grew up, enjoying from many other brands. We're going to talk about consistent brand experiences, making memories. And before we come there, I'm going to start with something that I think is most fundamental in creating brand experiences that can be consistent. Because without this, I have had many learnings in life where if you do not know your brand and you have not caught on to what makes an authentic brand voice, you falter the most. So let me just tell you a little story about this young small town girl, and she basically followed the regular path, became a doctor as her parents probably wanted, uh, but she had a lot of misgivings about the career, and she decided to change her career. This usually leads to a lot of self-doubt, a lot of sleepless nights. You do not know what you want to do next. And this person was facing the same thing, a lot of judgment from parents who think that they've made you a doctor. And then why would you want to ever change this about your career and your life? She eventually became an entrepreneur, and but still felt a lot behind her contemporaries, worked really hard, thankfully was a fighter. So she managed to ultimately create a brand which became super successful, became a leader in her industry, and that in itself was something that she was super excited about. We are going to change the story a little bit. The same small town girl, she became a lawyer instead. She was really excited instead of the sleepless nights and the self-doubts, very excited when she was about to change her career. There was judgment from the family, but still a very supportive friend circle, a very supportive family. And she really looked at this new beginning with a lot of joy. Really worked hard, of course, became a marketer instead of an entrepreneur, and she managed to help create a few brands. Well, I want to say, whether she is super successful or not, the jury is still out. Having said that, the reason why there are 2 or 3 stories here is because a traditional brand marketer will probably sell it as a hero's story. The archetype could be an explorer's archetype when she's excited, and it could be a jester's archetype when she narrates the same story with some humor. But the idea is, and I don't really buy into this traditional paradigm of archetypes, at least the traditional archetypes. Having said that, I'm more than happy to use these traditional archetypes to prove a point, which is that we really need to first know what story we want to tell of our own self. It's very important that we tell a story that's authentic, that sticks to us. Why? Because when we don't, then we face many issues, which is usually not being able to tell the team that is building the brand what their story is. Until the time the entire team does not live, breathe the same brand and the same story, there's no way that the customer hears a consistent voice, a consistent story. And the first step to building a consistent brand experience is knowing your story, making sure everyone on your team knows the story. When we were at Myntra, there used to be a test we used to apply. We used to say whether Myntra will say something or Mintru will say something. And we made everybody sign on a document saying that this is what Myntra says, this is what Mintru says, and we'll always stick to what Myntra says. So that everyone who joined that 2,000, 2,500 people army still knew the brand inside out. Well, I, of course, was talking about myself, and I'm going to now move to this is how we build a brand. So at Jiva or a Sugar or a Myntra, wherever I've worked, we really applied this principle of the team. What do we love doing? What we are trying to sell, basically the Ikigai principles, what are we good at and what can we be paid for. This is how we build a purpose. When we build a purpose and everybody aligns on the purpose, we decide what do we sound like, how do we want to be sound. I'm just going to take Jiva's example. When we started the brand, there were many routes for us to take. We could have been this empowered brand. You've seen many. We built that with Sugar. We could be this brand which is very funny. You've seen many. But we inherently wanted to sell very delicate silver jewelry. We wanted to be pioneers in a market. We knew that we really wanted to associate ourselves with that delicacy, with the happiness, with joy, with warmth, with, innovative designs, with our tagline is what the heart wants. We really wanted to be there for every special occasion. When you think of gifting, we hope that you think of Jiva. We are emotional, we are relatable, we are spontaneous, and as is the purchase of silver jewelry. So we decided, once we were very sure of this, that's how we decided to build this into a consistent language. So this was our brand, and the way we built our consistent language is this way. We knew what we were, which I just described, and we decided that when you walk into our store, somebody will greet you with something which is very warm. You will be offered a bottle of water. You see colors of pink and white and very light pastel shades, which really denote the joy and happiness that the brand wants to portray. We decided that the kind of influencers we work with, Anushka Sharma as our brand celebrity when we took her on, whether it is our campaigns, and you must have seen multiple campaigns over the years, they'll always have a gifting element. That's a subtle push for gifting. That is the way we crafted the occasions we chose to associate ourselves with, whether it's a Mother's Day, whether it's a Rakhi, whether it's Valentine's Day. These are all emotions these are all occasions related to love and warmth and joy and gifting. So this is how, whether you see our packaging, when you open it, you'll get a note, you'll see a note from Anushka, you'll see those colors. So hopefully that is how you build a consistent language. Every touch point that you can think of, and over years and years and years of repeating this, is how a very, very consistent brand language is built. Well, I can talk about many other things, but I think the best way to learn anything is through just watching maestros at work. And I grew up watching maestros at work. I mean, Gen Z people around the room might not relate as much, but millennials will definitely relate, Some brands that I'm going to talk about next, I just want you to experience it, because these are the things that we all saw, and we all hear, we all relate instantly. And we don't need to hear anything, whether it's audio that some of them have utilized that you will hear, whether it's the same brand language, but these are some iconic brands, or most of them Indian, that I think we've all grown up with, and we know why they became so big, because they were so consistent and they pushed it like that. Well, I'm going to first talk about, of course, Titan. Whether you hear... Well, everybody remembers Titans, this audio has been employed over the years. Everybody remembers how this brand has been created. We've all walked into stores with our parents trying to buy our first watch, or our mothers picking up a watch. And the brand just stands for so many memories at scale. The second thing, of course, this is the most iconic brand. That little girl who's relatable but still talks about India. It's India's brand. So, if you remember the Taste of India, and they decided to connect with all moments in India. We know that as soon as a World Cup is won, Amul will be there next day with an ad, and it will be narrated through a very, very cute, relatable girl, because that is what dairy would stand for.
जरा सी हंसी दुलार जरा सा Amul, the taste of India.
Well, the next one too, I think it's one of my favorite brands. I've learned a lot from them. There's no one who knows that exaggerated storytelling. Two elephants lose to their bond. A whole category is named after this brand. When we think of Fevicol, we know. आप 150 साल तक सेम सोफे चलते हैं, चाहे वो जितने भी हाथ बदल लें. So basically the idea of exaggerated humor and storytelling employed so beautifully to create a category.
फर्नीचर का साथी जिसकी निशानी है हाथी, फेविकॉल 30 साल से चैंपियन. फेविकॉल ऐसे जोड़ लगाए अच्छे से अच्छा ना तोड़ पाए.
Of course, Durex. I mean, everyone knows how tongue-in-cheek and how wild and fun the humor is. They connect to adults. They knew who their who they were talking to. And these were extremely initially, people who were very aware, very, very ahead. Now everybody. But it is an extremely, extremely funny brand. You know that they will be very witty with their humor. And they've created a brand that world over has nobody that beats them. And of course, this is one of my favorite.
Raymond, the complete man.
Raymond the Complete Man, that campaign has taken many, many forms over the years. But over 100 years talking about the same thing, it has been quite iconic and everybody remembers these and most of them have come from India. And we've done such a fabulous job building consistent stories. I hope this resonated with all of you and I'd love to take questions outside if you guys have any. But thank you so much for your time.